Okay, we're gonna try this one more time because for some reason, when I was recording, it was only recording my SketchUp side, but not this Enscape side. So now that I have both windows open, it should be recording both sides. So firstly, let me just take it back a little bit. So you open up your SketchUp first, and you're not gonna have this open yet. So how you get this to be open is you go to extensions, go to Enscape, and before you even click start Enscape, make sure that this is checked. Synchronize your views. Usually they're not going to be synchronized from the jump. You have to do that on your own. So synchronize, this will disappear, and then you go again to extensions, Enscape, and then you start Enscape. Mine is already started, so yeah. And synchronized views just means that no matter how you move in SketchUp, it's going to be reflected in Enscape. And I already have this open, but let's just close this so that I can show you how to open up your Enscape objects. Enscape objects is just the name that they have for lighting. So you go here to Enscape, extensions, Enscape, and then Enscape objects. This one is really cool, the asset library, which is like this tree over here. It looks really SketchUp-y, but then over here it's rendered into the tree that you selected. It's super neat. And that's how I get my people as well. And sometimes there's some furniture, that really nice furniture that I can get on Enscape. Anyways, Enscape objects, and this is the little window for your lighting. These are the different types of lighting that we have available to us, and sometimes you just have to finesse the situation to get the lighting that you want. So I'm just gonna start teaching you from what is easiest to me to the hardest thing, because I feel like the ones that I hardly ever use are the rectangle and disc. I use the disc lighting for the around the columns, and that's the one that you copied and pasted and you changed the color to. That's the one. But honestly, that was the first time. Sorry, that was karma. That was the first time ever that I have ever used it. So I'm still figuring out how to use these. I hardly ever do. The ones that are easier are these three. So let's start with the sphere. This one is very easy. It's just a sphere, literally. I it's really weird how this works, but you need 2 clicks for this one. It's kind of like the first click is the reference almost, and then the second one is where you want to place it. There it is. And I'm gonna move this up, so you could use the commands from SketchUp to move it. Let's do that. Okay. So the reason why I moved it is because, just for reference, you don't really want to have any of the lighting touching any surfaces or materials or anything like that, because then your light gets dimmed a little bit. So let's say that we had like a floor lamp here. It does like this little swooping motion. You don't want to have the light source actually touching the bulb. This should be a few, like maybe 6 inches off of the the bulb, so that the light is emanating from it. Because yeah, anyways, so I don't really mess with the radius because I don't really see much of a difference here. Look at that, like I don't see a difference. um Whatever, so I just leave it where it was. I usually just mess with the intensity. How intense do I want the light to really be? Usually depending on, I mean, it really depends on what you're doing. Right now it's pitch black, but it's usually sometimes I like to play with nighttime and daytime so that I can see how bright it really is during the day. And that was what I did with this model. Sorry, I want to move it here. You know how we have these windows and the sun is coming in? So there were times where I left the light on, the daylight on, so that we can see how bright these lights really are. Oh, and really quickly, let me show you how to change the time of day. So make sure you activate your cursor on the Enscape window, wherever it is that you have it. Make sure you click in it, and then with the letter I, time progresses normally, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. It's daytime. And then if you press the U, you're going back in time. You're reversing the time. But anyways, because I'm trying to show you this lighting, I'm just making it nighttime so you can actually see it out here. I don't want to add this inside. At the end, I'm just going to save this file and re-upload it to the Design Birds folder that we have, so that you can just copy and paste these light sources, and we could just play with it like that. So because I know that you don't have Enscape, so I'm just going to save this file, upload it so that you could just copy and paste the light sources, and it would be easier for you to work on your end, and then I can come in afterwards and just adjust the intensity or the size or whatever, what have you. So that could be like a little shortcut that we have, you know. I'll just come in and fix the intensity and the length of certain things. So this one's really easy. And again, if you click on your bead to activate the bucket, you can choose whatever color you want. I'm really liking this green right here. I don't know, I just like it. So we're gonna just change the color. It's really easy. Right now it looks funny because there's pink in the back and pink and green kind of cancel each other out. So let's say that we use this red instead. It changes. It's super easy. So you could even do that on your end. You know, you can copy and paste these light sources, change the color to whatever color you know you want to see it in. But because you can't actually see the colors, I'll just come in afterwards and I'll show you what I see, and then you decide if that color is okay. So that's the sphere. That one's really easy. The next one that I really like is the line, because that's the one that I'm most familiar with. When the very first time that I learned how to use Enscape, I was using the line. That was for one of my projects. Oh, and also, so Enscape and Sketchup are really, really slow for some reason. And if you do your clicks too quickly, both Enscape and SketchUp will close on you. I don't know why that is, but right now I just remembered because as I'm doing these clicks, I'm slowing down. Because sometimes if you do it too quick, like say you do boom, boom, when you're trying to place your lighting, it just all closes on you. So first what I want to do is I want to change the length. Let's say, and it's so cool because you can see it on Enscape. You see how it's growing. Let's say like that. And then I'm going to move this down like that. And then firstly, let me just move this. Well, I guess it's fine. The orb is far away enough. And then, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but again, you don't want your light source to be hitting any surfaces because your light will get dimmed. And this is the perfect example because now we have more light. And it's very interesting. I don't know why there's this little thing here, but the line does that. Not only do you have the light source here, but you have this little circle over here. So I would usually just extend it all the way over, or let's say that I moved like that. I would just move it so that we don't see that little circle. I don't know why that happens, but it happens. And this one is very easy to work with. I really like this one for cove lighting or whatever. This is the one that I used for that hexagon, the tunnel that you created. I thought that was brilliant. So I used 4 of these all the way around, just so that no matter from which angle we were standing in, we can see that the tunnel is emitting light. Next one, the spot. This one I just discovered how to use properly when I was making that video, but for some reason it wasn't recording Enscape. So I can't see right now if Enscape is being recorded. I'm only gonna find out till after I'm done recording, but I hope it is. This one, the spot, rectangle, and disc, you set them up with 4 clicks. I don't know why we need 4 clicks. I just wish it was 1, and then we could just rotate, move, and scale the way we want. Oh, that's another thing. So you will not be able to scale these. Let me just undo this. For some reason, it's like you have to have this window and you have to have Enscape in order to do this. So let's say that on your end, because you don't have Enscape right now, if we in fact do this thing where we where you can just copy and paste the light sources and you pass it over to your Enscape and you're messing with it, you can't scale these. Look at that. Like you don't have any of these little, the squares, the cubes to make it bigger. It doesn't work that way. You need to have this window to make it bigger however you want. But it's not gonna work if you just scale it. Yeah, like it's really weird. So I would just I would leave the scaling or like the making it bigger or more intense for me. Just place these wherever you want, and then I'll just go back and fix it up for you and do all the nitty-gritty stuff. Anyways, going back to the spotlight. I like it, but I've never used it. The spotlight I like for like track lighting, which maybe at some point I will use in school, and we might want to use, you know, for like art galleries or whatever, what have you. So this one again, 4 clicks. I don't know why. Like this, like reference click, placing click, and then I think this is the direction you want it to light in. Like where, what do you want to light? And let's say we do it here. I'm just trying to make it as straight as possible. I'm using the lines of the the flooring. And then what like, so that's the direction. What do you want to light? And then how do you want the light to go? So I usually like to make it go up. Okay, there it is, blue. Just like that. And this one is really cool because you can have this lighting down, lighting up this way or whatever. And I just realized that you were telling me for prom, I believe. Yeah, for prom, you wanted up lighting for the walls, and I couldn't figure it out, but I did it. I just did it earlier, but it was, for some reason, it wasn't recording Enscape. But let's make it as wide as possible. And then let's do the intensity a little like this. And then let's use that trick that you taught me with the move tool. And then you press control. Oh, no, don't rotate. Control, and you move it over, say like that. And let's do ×4. Come on, there we go. So yeah, and then how do you get this off is I think you just have to change the angle by which these are lighting. So let's just do this. And then we're gonna rotate. And I just like to grab by any corner. Like so, and we're gonna do it like that. Let's bring these up a little bit more because I wanted to show you how I just figured out how to do like wall washing. Let's say you were doing uplighting for, you know, like on the ground or whatever. You want to wash this wall. There we go. And then there you have, you know, the wall is being washed. And now if you wanted to change the settings of the lighting, you don't have to select all of them. These are treated like components pretty much. So you just select one, and you select one and you can change it for all of them. If I was just changing this one, you would only see it on this corner, but it changes all of them. You can also do that whole trick of the make unique and do all that. So let's see if, yeah, because this is big. So if we were to have a whole bunch of these lined up, this would wash the wall really nicely. I think that was the way that you wanted the walls to be washed for prom, where it had the Huda, and it was like along all the walls, and I didn't know how to do it. I just figured it out right now. Anyways, and sometimes I saw on YouTube that some people like to line these up like this, sometimes even have like a whole grid of them to actually make their own artificial sun because they don't like the way that the sun is shown or like the way it's displayed here on Enscape. They don't like it, so they make their own sources. Okay, so the next one that is easiest for me would be the disc, and that's the one that we used again for the columns. So we reference click, and then we place it, and then I'm gonna do this because, oh yeah, we can't use the arrows for the third one. I don't know why, but I want to use the arrows to really make this straight. Let's say it goes like that, and then I'm just gonna, oh, again, we gotta wait for the clicks because if I do the clicks too quickly, this thing closes on me. So I'm just waiting a little bit. Now I can do the fourth click. Cool. So this disc is placed like that. I don't want it to be like that. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna, okay, straight up. I'm gonna rotate it. Oops. Like that, and then like that. Oh, see, I don't understand why sometimes it doesn't work out the way that I think it's gonna work. Like that. And I don't really know. I think this is more for like uplighting, again, like on the floor. If you have something around something. I mean, if you have the lighting around something like we did for the columns, that's why I use this one. I didn't really know how this works. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a little slanted. That's why it's not cooperating. But yeah, that one's pretty easy. And again, I usually have these things like hovering right above the floor, because if you have it right on top of the floor, it kind of like wants to blend in with the materials. Let's see, yeah. So you won't even see it. But this one, I think you can only see the lighting when it's up against something. So let's just move this like this. Okay, so this thing is slightly crooked. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna rotate it again. So like this, like this. It's not exactly, you see how it's not exactly straight? How I usually line this up to the, oh, this is how we do it. So we selected one corner, and then we're gonna select the other corner, and then move it upwards like that to the red axis, and now it's straight. Not that it really matters for this, but you know, in case that ever happens to you, that's my little trick. It's really easy. But anyways, that's the disc. And then lastly, we have this rectangle. I've never used the rectangle, but what I saw on the internet, it was that, okay, reference, place it, and then I'm just gonna make this go, I don't know. Anyways, what I saw on the internet somebody used this for was, imagine that you're taking a picture or a perspective of a room, but you have another room that is like adjacent to it, but and you know that there is light coming from that room, but you're not necessarily focusing on the second room. It's the first room. Say it's the kitchen, and you have this separating wall. I don't know, from like the living room, and you know that there's light coming from the living room, and you just want to show that there's light coming from there. That's what I saw these people do, like, and say that the opening, or to cross from the living room to the kitchen, is a rectangular like doorway, but there's no actual door, it's just a doorway or hallway. That's what I saw them using. They literally just sized this rectangle to the hallway thing, and you'll have your lighting coming from there. So let's say this is the kitchen and you're trying to take a perspective from here, and you have lighting coming from the living room. It's like, that's what I saw, but I've never needed to use this. If anything, if I really wanted to do that, I think I would just use the sphere. I wouldn't bother with the rectangle, but I don't know how else or for what reason I would use the rectangle. But that's pretty easy. That's how I use these. They're pretty easy. Again, if you want to change the color, you just use your bucket tool and you change the colors. You can make them unique. Treat these as components. I think I already said that. But yeah, let's have this. I'm going to save it now. And I'm going to upload this to the Design Birds folder. and that way you can copy and paste these over to your new file. Let's say like the new model that we're gonna do for Huda, and then just place them where you think you want this lighting to be. Change the colors, and then I will go in, and because I have the software, I can actually see what the light is doing. If it needs to be more intense, I'll do that, and then I'll show you what it's looking like. If you want to change the colors, you know, I'll just fine tune it, but you can start placing the lighting wherever you want so you can have an idea. Just again, remember to not place it directly onto any surface because the light will dim. These do not have to be inside of a bulb or anything, just right outside, because I've done that before. I've thrown these inside of a bulb and they disappear. They don't work, and sometimes they flicker. Like as you're moving like this, Enscape will show the lights flickering, and it's really annoying, really weird. So that's that. Oh, and sometimes, let's say, this is the last tip that I like to do, but maybe I might have to do it if you don't remember to do this. So let's say you have like a, I don't know, let's say a floor lamp, and you add this sphere source. If you really want to make it look like the lamp is actually lit, I click on the bulb or whatever the thing is, it's a bulb, and I will go to here to this little material editor, and then you have to select the color or the material of the actual bulb. You have to look for it. I don't want to click anything, but okay, I will do it. So let's say we're doing, I don't know, let's say it's this one right here. You click on it, and then here you go to the down arrow and you click self-illuminated. And the material immediately is more like, I wouldn't say opaque, but it's really bright. So it actually looks like it's lit. Because sometimes, you know, you'll have a bulb and you can see that it's off. Oh, interestingly, it's a perfect example. For the prom file, when I was going in and doing the lighting, you know how you had Huda High? It was some letters on the floor. It said Huda High and it had some bulbs inside. And I'm like, I don't know if that's supposed to be lit or not. I'm not going to put any lighting to it, but I did go and I selected the bulb material. I forgot what material it was called. And I went here and I did self-illuminate, and it really did pop. It made it look like it was on, but it didn't have like really crazy lighting. So it's just something, because sometimes the little circle will look grayish, and you know that if it was on in real life, when you look at a bulb, it almost looks white, or you know, you can see the bulb emitting that light. So that's something that I do. And that is it. Do another save because you just never know. But yeah, that's it. That's what I do. Just play with the light and making sure that everything looks good. And then over here on my end, I also have to remember to do this. Sometimes I forget because I get really carried away. I go here to the visual settings, and here is where I change the exposure and, you know, saturation and all that stuff. So sometimes oops, sometimes having I literally just lost my train of thought because I'm doing a lot of things at the same time. Okay, here. So sometimes I'll do this. I'll play with this, see what's better. If it's better for me to do it manually or the program does it alone. I usually just leave this on, and I'll come play with this stuff here. This one's really important. This will really change the vibe of everything. So sometimes, you know, I go a little warmer, sometimes very, very cool, but I try to stay right here. So this is something else that I will do. I also like to play with the sharpness of the shadows and like the brightness. Like, this one's really cool because the brightness of the artificial light, but this is where like I sometimes like it and I don't, because it just changes the light of everything. It will recognize what's artificial lighting and it'll just come in here and change it. So I think right now, because I'm on this file, it's actually changing the artificial brightness of everything inside as well. So I don't remember where it was. I'm just going to leave it here. But yeah, I think I've done a lot of talking. This video is getting a little long. But yeah, I hope this helps. And again, there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do this. But again, I think that maybe this would be the smart thing to do. That I save this, you copy and paste it, you place it, and you change the colors as you want. And then I'll go in and change the intensity, the size of the light source, and then, just kind of tweak it exactly how we want, and then I'll do all this other visual setting stuff. So yeah, that's it. And I hope that you are safe and warm. I know you live at Venice, so hopefully you're not getting crazy rain right now. Right now, here in Long Beach, we are. I think there's actually a leak happening. I see some water in my window. But yeah, girl, stay safe, and we'll be in contact soon.